ending that sequence today. St Helens are unbeaten in their last 9, so something's got to give in the top match of the day. Two sides brimful of confidence line up with Steve Prescott and Mick Martindale on his debut at fullback. Wings see Alan Hunt and John Bentley wearing two fierce competitors. Anthony Sullivan and Mark Preston on the other flank. Preston, 134 tries and 189 appearances. There's not many better. Centre Scott Gibbs, his big league reputation is growing, and John Schuster, with 146 points, is the leading scorer in the game. Paul Loughlin tangles with the up-and-coming Richard Smith. Standoff, Tommy Martin missed the first 9 games of the season. Michael Hagan played in Halifax's last win here, a cup tie 10 years ago. Scrum half, it's Bobby Goulding and Wayne Parker. It'll be one of the main events this afternoon. Up front, Jonathan Neal, the Cumbrian County representative, and it's Great Britain's Carl Harrison. Adam Fogarty, once of Halifax, up against John Fieldhouse, once of St Helens. Hooker Bernard Dwyer is back for Saints. They've used 4 men to cover his absence. Roy Southernwood keeps his place, despite the signing this week of the outstanding young hooker, Paul Rowley from Leeds. Second row, it's Chris Joynt and Paul Moriarty, another battle royal on the cards there. And Sonny Nicol aims to prove he should be in the Great Britain side to face Australia. Mark Perrett was left behind by the team bus in Halifax, so Paul Round steps in at the last minute. Loose forwards, the evergreen Shane Cooper and Gary Devorty, who won the last of his 2 international caps 10 long years ago. The coaches, Eric Hughes of Saints and Steve Sims of Halifax. Young Brit against Aussie there. The match referee is 30-year-old Russell Smith, top official for what undoubtedly is the top match of the weekend in the Stone Spinner Championship. St Helens against Halifax here at Knowsley Road. This has all the prospects of being a truly memorable encounter. Wayne Parker kicks off. One bounce into the arms of Loughlin. Here comes the first tackle of this match. Harrison on Loughlin, and Loughlin is brought to ground. St Helens unbeaten in 9 successive league games. They're 4th in the table, and Halifax have recorded 7 straight wins. They are 5th. They have a game in hand. That's how important this match is. St Helens will be delighted to see Bernard Dwyer back in the side, the hooker, out for much of the season injured. 2 tries in the drawn fixture in this corresponding match last season. Goulding just jinks away from Southernwood, gets the kick in downfield and finds touch 10 metres inside the Halifax half.
Doesn't seem too happy with Bobby Goulding, but it was a good directed kick. No chance for the winger to get anywhere near that. Little General always like to get off to a good start, and that was a good kick.
Substitutes for St Helens, Griffiths and Perolini. For Halifax, the new man, Paul Rowley, and Ian Connor, who's on loan from St Helens. Wayne Parker feeds the scrum, gets possession. And 3 are there to greet him. Tommy Martin, Shane Cooper, and also Chris Joynt. Here's the centre, Richard Smith, growing reputation, but buried underneath that challenge from Fogarty and Dwyer. Southernwood, the dummy half, looking for Moriarty. Moriarty gets away from Dwyer, but can't get away from Joynt and Nicol. Welsh international gets to his feet, plays the ball. Southernwood hands it on to his captain, Harrison. Harrison, of course, who missed last week's game against Oldham, injured in the test match at Old Trafford 24 hours earlier. This is Gary Devorty now. Crowd in the opening 2 minutes here, quite quiet, almost holding its breath, waiting for some spark to start the fire here at Knowsley Road. Will that high kick from Parker produce it? Prescott's underneath it. Not a problem for the young St Helens full-back.
A little bit too far, the kick from Wayne Parker. He was put under a lot of pressure by Bobby Goulding. It's going to be an interesting clash, those 2 halfbacks, Goulding and Parker. Both live wires.
Ball bounces off the chest of John Neal. Halifax have it back. First mistake from Saints.
You could see that the man was coming at him. All round, the big shoulder going into the big prop forward, Jonathan Neal. And a forward. The crowd go up in unison. Not happy about it, Fieldhouse.
Well, he's a former St Helens player, Steve-O. That's why he didn't like that decision, I suppose.
Pretty borderline.
So Saints off the hook, despite that mistake from Neal. Here's Goulding now scampering away from the base of the scrum. Tackle on him by Gary Devorty.
Important, Eddie, for a few players out there today to have a big game to really lift them for the third test at Ellen Road.
Steve Prescott. It's good tackling from Devorty. He's already worked hard. That's a flop, though, for Brown. Well, that's absolutely silly. That's got to be a penalty to St Helens.
A little bit late there, you can see it. As though there was any effort behind it. Ball round, the big frame just flopping right over the top. Well, a silly penalty.
Ball round only in the side because the Halifax team bus left Mark Perrott, the Welsh international, behind at Drumhall when they journeyed over here today. I realised he was missing when they got to Knowsley Road.
Amazing, isn't it? You could actually leave a player and nobody noticed.
Obviously doesn't sing too much on the bus on the coach journey over.
Well, they must have had plenty of nerves. Surely they know when one of the teammates is missing.
Building with the run into the Halifax quarter. Dwyer, the dummy half, to Cooper, and that went forward too. Doesn't matter. Halifax have it back.
Well, plenty of nerves there. You could see that the loose forward Shane Cooper took his eyes off that football. They realise it's going to be a tough encounter, this.
The referee has pinged Sonny Nicol for a high challenge.
Well, we knew it was going to be pretty hard. There you can see the centre, Schuster going right down into it. Not so sure that it was a swinging arm or anything. Schuster just ducked into it. Well, he's got a bit of a reputation behind him, I'm afraid. Sonny Nicol knows the way to the dressing room, been off quite a few occasions.
He will be one of the players you mentioned, Steve, are looking for a big game today, because who knows, with Ellery Hanley announcing his squad tomorrow to face the Australians in that third test. A big display here, and it could be that he will get penciled in. Meanwhile, Halifax knocked on at the play of the ball.
Well, it was kicked through, wasn't it? See the big prop forward, Jonathan Neal, got the boot to it. Allowed to strike for it as soon as it's hit the ground. There was nothing wrong with the striking. The hooker making a real meal of it.
Goulding with the scampering run. There's Tommy Martin. Smith in there, so too Devorty.
It's important that this man, Bobby Goulding, has a big game. Lift his spirits.
Scott Gibbs gets the ball away to Loughlin. Defence from Halifax.
Good defence, but I'm not so sure that that pass wasn't forward.
Dwyer grounded, 10 metres inside the Halifax half of the field. Cooper is the man in there at dummy half. He gives it to Goulding. Long pass out wide to Alan Hunt. Good ball it was too, and he's round Mark Preston, but he couldn't get away from Richard Smith. Here's Tommy Martin.
Well, they did the run around there. You could see Scott Gibbs take the ball back, but there was just no runners at all.
There's runners here as Martindale taps the ball down, and it bounced into the arms of Moriarty. Referee rules that it's a St Helens hand that got there first.
He did well to the fullback Prescott, but offside. The big centre, Paul Loughlin, the guilty party. Well, the touch judges helping the referee, Russell Smith. Nice to see him stamping his authority. There you can see Loughlin nowhere near the 10.
Russell Smith telling the St Helens players to wait back 10 metres before coming into Challenge Fieldhouse. He loses the ball, and the referee, what will he rule? Will he rule that the ball was stolen, or was it a tackle without, on the man without the ball? That's what the signal is.
Well, he just used his shoulder, Loughlin. The arm went up off the shoulder into the face of Fieldhouse. He felt it. Big boy is Loughlin. Then when the ball came clear, perhaps Fieldhouse hit the head on the ground. That didn't help his cause either. He's a tough cookie.
Goulding gets the possession to Martin. He finds Loughlin. Martin working the link with Prescott. Cooper going into dummy half again. Here's Scott Gibbs. Settling in nicely, but releases the ball there. Very untidy, and it will be brought back with a knock-on.
Well, a lot of pressure there. Gibbs trying to get the ball alive when really he should have gone to ground on it. Stacks on the mill. Well, a lot of nerves in this game in the opening 8 minutes.
And plenty of handling errors too, 6 in the opening 8. It's Paul Round now. The hand into the face of Shane Cooper, but Cooper wouldn't be swatted away. And the game's leading point scorer, John Schuster. 146 points before today's match. Parker, Devorty, Hagan. So important, Michael Hagan to this Halifax side. He loses the ball. Another handling error.
Well, it's panic football. They're trying to get the ball away in impossible positions. There you can see him trying to get it away there. Not so sure that Nicol wasn't involved.
And Hunt loses it, and Moriarty picks up for Halifax.
Well, I think both these teams would like to just start all over again. There you can see it was the hand of Harrison coming over the top that jolted the ball away. We need a clean break. Make these two teams realise that they're there to play football. And another mistake.
Well, it's so scrappy, it's untrue. It must be nerves because there's so much at stake for both these sides. Someone needs to settle it down. Perhaps Bernard Dwyer can do that. Horrendous error count already. Nicol, good run. Onto the big second row's collar. Now John Neal stands, withstands the tackle, gets it to Gibbs, he gets it to Hunt. It's good tackling by Preston, but he was tackled, Hunt. He got up and ran away, but the tackle was complete.
There you can see the arm hit the floor on the deck. Did his elbow touch it? Ooh, it's pretty close, wasn't it? Well, according to the referee, Russell Smith, he deemed that that man's elbow did hit the floor. Therefore, the tackle was deemed to have been completed. Geez, let's have a clean break, please.
Yes, 10 minutes gone.
Get this game underway.
Harrison. Devorty with the run. Both sides driving the ball in hard, and that's why the ball is coming out, as well as the fact that they're trying to force the pace. Devorty finds Parker, good ball, but it bounced off the chest of Brown. The knock on, another mistake.
Well, the idea was there. You could see that it was Hagan that had just popped up a neat pass there. The big second row around couldn't take it. The half chance was there. That could have been try time.
Well, we've had 11 minutes, and only twice in this match has either side managed to hang on to the ball for their full set of 6 tackles. And there's a forward pass now from Neal, overrunning the ball inside. Oh no, he's caught Halifax for offside.
They were looking to get away with that. It was a definite forward pass. Confused the fans. They were happy about it though. Saints in possession. Well, I get the impression this is going to be one of those days where the forwards are going to really slog it out.
Here's Joint, playing in his more accustomed second row role now. We are 10 handling errors. Chris Joint, who's picking himself up eventually, despite the penalty that's been given to them for holding down. He plays prop forward, of course, in the opening 2 tests against the Aussies.
Well, you can see there quite clearly there was no chance that Devorty was going to release him.
The Saints come again with John Neal. The match needs a try to settle things down. Dwyer finds Fogarty.
Well, surely one of the sides will realise to miss a man out, get the ball out wide, do something different.
Nicol drives it in hard. Test of the Halifax defence. Now then, Goulding. There's the long pass out wide. Sullivan collects it on one knee and then is hauled in by Schuster, held down by Bentley. Loughlin, 10 metres from the Halifax posts. Cooper, Fogarty.
Second rower, Sonny Nicol just ambling back. He caught a knock in the fray.
And that's a great ball from Goulding to Gibbs. And Scott Gibbs, 2 tries in midweek against Doncaster. He hit that at pace, and he was not going to be denied. Tremendous ball from Goulding, though.
Quick play the ball. Goulding shouted what is on the blind side. Used the dummy runner. Ball out wide, and look at that. They were caught very short indeed. Richard Smith didn't slide across quick enough. Quick play the ball. and this is where it all came about. The inside dummy run from Cooper. Half a chance. They tried the long pass. This is one that went out wide. That's what we've been screaming for. And from this run through from Sullivan, they got in a position. Ball later, and look at that. Goulding shouting for it. And when you come on like that, right on the speed, bang, great try.
4 in 4 games for Scott Gibbs now. Bobby Goulding, 43 goals this season, and the crowd very quiet to give Goulding ample time for concentration. But he's missed it. Ball just spinning away from the posts. 4-0 though, Saints.
See how the dummy run on the inside from Cooper has brought Smith the centre, 2-on-1, and that's all it takes. It's all a matter of inches in this game, and that guy is in for 4. Well done, Scott Gibbs.
Try for the Welshman, who will be earning his corn in the summer at Manly in Australia. Going over there, he says, to complete, or to help complete his learning curve. And Alan Hunt also is heading off down under on the same plane to Manly with Scott Gibbs. Well, a try at last in this match. A game involving the 2 form teams of the big league. Loughlin flat illegally too.
Was he ever? You can see the head go back. The prop forward, Carl Harrison. The left arm, impact time. And he could go. He could well go. Harrison is claiming that he hit him on the shoulder. Let's not forget that Harrison, key man in the Great Britain side.
Well, Russell Smith is laying the law down to him. See the arm come across, and whoa, the Loughlin head really did go back, didn't it? And Harrison lucky to survive that. I think one more from the big fellow and he'll be off. There was a memo issued by Greg McCullum, the new referees controller in this country this week, that says that foul play must be penalised with a red card. There's no excuse for hiding behind a yellow. And I think that was the message that Harrison has received from Russell Smith. Meanwhile, Saints have milked another penalty, and then they've gone another 10 yards because Fieldhouse back chatting.
There's no doubt that Fieldhouse was giving Jonathan Neal a facial. Well, it's about time Russell Smith got a little bit of control on this. It's getting niggly.
Big penalty count already, isn't it? And Fogarty, the man who's driving that ball in. Now St Helens again in the red zone, as Bobby Fulton calls it. Short ball from Goulding to Nicol. The Halifax defence had to be alert, and Moriarty was. Dwyer, Goulding, there's Chris Joynt, skipped through one and then just loses his footing in the vital moment. So close again, St Helens, with Dwyer, and Richard Smith knocked the ball down. That will be a knock-on.
Probably saved the day as well, did the young centre Richard Smith. Stacks on the mill then, he was caught in tight. The gap was appearing.
Saints head and feet at the scrum, dropped by Martin. The ball went backwards though, play on. And Alan Hunt then turned round a full 180 degrees and almost used Steve Prescott as a foil. It was almost obstruction, but referee Russell Smith says play on. Here's Prescott taking them on his own, the full-back. Parker there, so too Paul Round.
Halifax are moving up very quickly indeed, and it's a kicking game that you're going to break this down. They're moving up quickly out wide and trying to force them down the middle, but surely Bobby Goulding's seen it and used the kick.
There it is, kick for the corner, looking for Hunt. Instead he found only the touch on that far side of the field.
Well, it's a move that he uses with the winger Alan Hunt on many occasions this season. Just a little bit too strong there, but that's the idea. He's going to catch a sliding defence, especially when it's slow. That's the way to do it.
Parker is hauled down by 2 men who shot out from the scrum, Joynt and Cooper. Richard Smith, it's good defence this from St Helens at the moment. Now the tall figure of Martindale. That was a flop from Loughlin in the use of an elbow too, and it was right in front of Russell Smith.
Well, you could see that. Now, come on, referee. The elbow went down. Now I can't believe this. We've seen Harrison throw one straight over the top. Now we find the centre, Paul Loughlin, doing stupid thing with his elbow. And all they've got is a little chatter from the referee.
Would you send either of them off for that, Harrison or Loughlin?
Of course. It's sending off offence.
Eighteen and a half minutes gone. Southernwood, the dummy half. He finds Harrison. Southernwood there again to launch this attack through Hagan, and now round. Good scampering run from the Halifax hooker into the 20-metre zone for St Helens. This is Parker. He gives it to Hagan. Chip over the top one for Bentley. Oh, and that was just a couple of ounces too strong from Hagan.
Well, what St Helens can do in one end, Halifax can do at the other, but there you see it, just a little bit too hard. Australian Michael Hagan, classy player. But there was never any chance that Bentley was going to get to that one. But at least for the first time, Halifax can apply pressure.
Halifax, the last team from Yorkshire to be crowned champions in 1986. On a good run too at the moment, but having to defend this run from Loughlin. And it was Martindale who hauled them down. Nicol keeps control of the football despite Richard Smith climbing all over his back. Now Fogarty. Halifax this week spent £100,000 on 2 new recruits. One of them, Paul Rowley, is on the bench from Lee as Bernard Dwyer loses possession again. Horror statistics cropping up here now, Steve-O. Knock on, says referee Russell Smith.
And a little look at the touch judge just to confirm there was a knock on. Well, the mistakes are coming fast and furious. Tell you what, there you see the referee Smith having a few words to Carl Harrison, telling him to calm things down. He's just getting excited out there.
Cooper feeds Goulding. The pass to Alan Hunt wasn't the best, and it was well done by the winger for keeping control of that. Here's Nicol. Devorty hangs on to the ankle, but Nicol slips the net. 21 minutes gone. St Helens ahead, courtesy of the Scott Gibbs try. Searching for more now with Martin. Ball back to Chris Joynt. Good tackle by Fieldhouse. St Helens having the majority of possession. Referee's gone to the back pocket. Someone's in the bin, and it's Carl Harrison.
He came late into the tackle. It was a flop. Well, he had to do something, Russell Smith. But 2 bad incidents in my book. Here he comes. Nothing in it. Just a wasted time. But that wasted time earns him 10 minutes. Talk about losing your cool.
So Halifax now down to 12 men, and Fogarty trying to immediately punish them. Good drive from Fogarty. St Helens now looking busy with Goulding. He's almost through. Loughlin is over. Goulding's created another. At the moment that Halifax are reduced to 12 men, St Helens strike for the second time. Goulding unlocked the door, and Loughlin slipped through.
Once again, he ran from the open to the blind and used the dummy runner. This time they couldn't get him down. Hagan couldn't put him to the ground. The pass was out. It's all about using your brains, and this guy is ticking over, isn't he? Superb pass. Loughlin came at the right time. Nothing that Schuster can do. It all came about from this silly penalty that also gave the prop forward Carl Harrison 10 minutes in the sin bin. And straight away, Saints have made them pay for it.
Fourth big league match in a row that Loughlin has scored a try now. Bobby Goulding, he has had 1 conversion attempt from the other side. He'll try his luck now from this side. Steve Sims and Steve Hampson watching on from the director's box here at Knowsley Road, unhappy with what they're seeing so far, knowing that there is a big period of this match coming up for them now with Harrison off the field and in the sin bin. Bobby Goulding just faded away. It looked as though it was heading right over the black dot, but it just faded away. 8-0.
A master move from Goulding. You can see he runs from the open side to the blind. That catches a defence. They were pretty slow coming to him. Hagen went on the inside, took the dummy. Ball out wide. Schuster had committed himself and couldn't stop that. Well worked by the little master, Bobby Goulding. And well scored by that man.
15 caps for Paul Loughlin and 8 caps for Bobby Goulding. Both of them involved in the build-up to Old Trafford, of course. Loughlin eventually dropping out of the squad. The kick went out. And the referee will put the scrum down here.
Well, he won't be too happy with that. The coach, Eric Hughes, brought forward Jonathan Neal. And all the time in the world to get hands to that. Decided to play a little bit of Bobby Charlton stuff.
Goulding not tackled, so he got up. He is tackled now, well and truly, by Bentley. Dwyer to Neal, grits his teeth.
Few gaps appearing in this Halifax defence now. Remember, they're down to 12.
Long ball out wide, was too high for Gibbs. It went backwards though. So Russell Smith says to Alan Hunt, play on. And again, Hunt, he was not held then. Remember, he was penalised by the referee early for doing exactly that, and that's why he just stuttered a bit.
Not only stuttered, he looked at the referee, and Smith says, yes, go on, play on. Wasn't going to be caught on that occasion.
Neal again, doing the hard yards up the middle, but he lost it. Might do the hard yards, but he's got to hang on to the ball.
Crunch time, the impact. You can see that it was Parker that was trying to get the left arm underneath. He appeals to the referee and get away with it.
Richard Smith disappears. Martin, Sullivan, Loughlin in on him very quickly. Now John Bentley has been quiet. They've not got the ball out to the wings and they have some pace, don't they? John Bentley just making sure his head didn't touch the whitewash, showing a bit of a joke there with Anthony Sullivan too.
Sullivan claiming that he got Bentley's head on the whitewash.
Moriarty on halfway, plays the ball to Southernwood. He is Devorty. Gets it away to Moriarty. He is Hagen. St Helens doing a good job on Michael Hagen and Wayne Parker, who's in possession now. So much so that they haven't managed to get the ball out wide to those flying wingers, Bentley and Preston. The kick downfield from Parker has to be run out of the danger zone by Sullivan.
It was a good kick though from Parker, right into the corner. You're only as good as you chase with a big kick like that, and the Halifax were quick to get up there. But it's usually from this position that Halifax have given away silly penalties and let the pressure go off the Saints.
Shane Cooper now, almost through, and Southernwood stuck to him like glue. Played the ball from an almost horizontal position, but didn't play it with his foot. So Dwyer is able to run the ball out. But that's good defence from Halifax. Now Goulding will surely kick it deep. And Goulding is leading the charge downfield as Preston picks up. There he is, the little number 7. But Preston skipping past them. Here goes Preston, and he was collared by Alan Hunt.
Well, they did the right thing, didn't they? Saints came in and tried to shove him across into the corner. But Preston's speed was beautiful. Good job that Alan Hunt came back to the rescue.
Penalty. They wouldn't let Hagen regain his feet.
Back chatting again. Wasn't happy with it. Caught a knee in the face, did the big centre Paul Loughlin. But those extra 10 metres that was being given by the referee Russell Smith gives Halifax a chance to post their first score.
Yes, Schuster will have a shot at goal here. Loughlin involved, so too Cooper. Referee Russell Smith now holds up the clock because there's no sand for Schuster to place the ball on, tee it up for this penalty attempt.
I'll tell you what, I reckon that the centre Lachlan is quite lucky to be on there. Remember, Russell Smith sent Carl Harrison off for a late flop. Professional foul, it was deemed. Well, that man certainly did one then. So Halifax camp will be wondering why Saints aren't down to 12.
No doubt Halifax hoping that by taking all this time they will let the clock run down, but Russell Smith has held the clock up on the timekeepers. Of course, Halifax down to 12 men, 10 minutes in the bin for Harrison. And only now does the clock restart officially. Schuster then in wonderful form with the boot, and that's the reason why from 10 metres inside the Saints' half it went over clean as a whistle.
Well, Schuster may have got the 2 points, but it was from this wonderful run from the winger Mark Preston that got them into position for it. It was a great kick and chase, but both Gibbs and Goulding were beaten by pace.
52 goals now for the season, 148 points for John Schuster. Here comes John Bentley. Halifax at last on the board. Schuster now with the run. Half an hour gone in this match, 10-2 half-time, 8-2, Saints ahead. Halifax in possession with Moriarty.
Well, Halifax realising that they can get the ball out wide. There's a few gaps to be found. Both sides realising it's no point in just toughing it out down the middle with the forwards.
Fieldhouse looked over the shoulder and thought about releasing the pass, and it was caught for the knock-on.
Well, it was only a little one, wasn't it?
If at all.
He doesn't believe that it left his hand. It did move, there's no doubt about it, as soon as it hit the ground. Well, hard one to decide upon.
Russell Smith made his decision, and Lachlan, good job that Hagan was in. 14 handling errors. That was the 8th by Halifax from John Fieldhouse. Nicol on the marauding run. Great stuff from Nicol. Harrison prepares to return to the fray. The 10-minute serve. But will he come on too late to defend against another try? Soccer skills from Goulding. Back to Fogarty. Harrison returns. Halifax only 6 points adrift as Cooper takes them on again. Southernwood to Goulding. Short ball this time. Prescott steps inside, weaving his way towards the posts. That's the last tackle for Saints.
Beautiful run from the full-back. An inside pass to from Goulding, and that's a real mess-up.
Knock on against Bernard Dwyer, and it's the turnover because it's on the last.
Pretty heavy traffic there. There you can see it. As soon as it's played, it was a knock-on, little doubt. Plenty of stray boots in there.
Southernwood thought about going right, went left, and then gave it to Richard Smith. Little sign there from Southernwood. That looked forward. The St Helens crowd thought so too. Carl Harrison, his first touch since he came back out of the sin bin. Hagan.
Not so sure he played the ball correctly either. Well, both sides are just panicking, trying to force this football. It's the reason why there's been so many errors.
Parker under pressure from Goulding. It was charged down. It's play on. Nicol has it on halfway. Goulding charged to close down Parker then and got a foot to the ball. Martin to Scott Gibbs.
Good tackle by the youngster there, Richard Smith.
Juggling from Jonathan Neal. Dwyer, the dummy half. Saints 10 metres inside that Halifax half. Here's Goulding. Joint takes over. Joint to his captain Cooper, into the arms now of Hunt. No progress made, back to exactly the same spot. Martin dinks one over the top, that's good play. Well done, Schuster.
Read it well, did the New Zealander. Schuster came back to the rescue. It was a nice little chip over. Really did save the day then for Halifax.
Harrison was an elbow raise then. Was an elbow raise then by Fieldhouse? I think it was. Paul Round drops it. Loughlin has his back.
Gee, there's a lot of talking. The players are having a go at each other. They're going high, there's elbows, there's punches being thrown. A lot of threats being offered to each other. It may be simmering now, but I reckon it's going to boil.
Martin jinks inside Paul Round. Desperate defence from Moriarty and Parker to keep him out. Dwyer to Goulding. Back to Joint. Joint from a standing start. Loses it. And Michael Hagan picks up. It was not lost, it was stolen.
Hagan was really rabbiting for that ball there. You can see the arm going down. Took a while for Russell Smith to see the touch judge, who was indicating to him.
And Michael Hagan just had a word with Russell Smith, the referee, and said, "What was that for?" And Russell Smith told him that he had stolen the ball. Hagan, I think, is unconvinced.
There you can see the hand going into it. Goes underneath and again and again. So he has another second go. Third time he gets it out. Well, that's a problem that these referees risk when they do not send players off for foul play. There's a lot of people there. They are talking at each other. Ooh.
That's the angle that Bobby Goulding has for this, his third attempt. And third time lucky. That's better, he says to himself as he jogs back with Saints 10-2 ahead. Tremendous home record against Halifax, the Saints. Never beaten in 11 games. Last league win, 1963-64, some 30 years ago. Here's the head-to-head. St Helens well in control of the sequence. Bounces off the chest of Goulding. He picks it up and feeds Loughlin. Oh, Fieldhouse went in, and this could be the end of John Fieldhouse. St Helens incensed by the challenge. Now then, a big decision here for Russell Smith. He holds the clock up.
Went straight in with the shoulder. The arm was over the top. Well, he's been lenient on 2 occasions. Fieldhouse having a little word with Loughlin.
He's gone to his back pocket, the referee, and the card is red. Fieldhouse sent off.
The arm was definitely over the top, but he connected with the shoulder. That's what he will be claiming. We see 2 blatant offences earlier than that. He uses the shoulder, and Russell Smith's patience has gone.
So, Halifax, Loughlin is all right, none the worse for this.
Definitely over the top of the shoulder. He used his shoulder. Not that it will take anything away, the pain from the centre, Loughlin.
So Fieldhouse on his return to one of his former clubs. He played another of them last week, Oldham, at Drumhall, and it was a far happier afternoon for him then. He's now in the dressing room and will not reappear. He's been sent off. And Halifax, having played with Harrison in the sin bin, now have to survive to the end of the match with 12 men.
Good play by the winger Anthony Sullivan there. Knew there was no room outside. Put the foot to the ball.
Bentley. Halifax now will have to dig deep on their resources, their nerve, their power. Penalty to Halifax.
Wrist joint there holding down. Sullivan was also involved. This really has been a scrappy game at the play of the ball.
Parker has not found touch with that. Unbelievable from Parker. He comes to rest in the in-goal area. Prescott can run it out.
Well, as though they're not enough pressure by having a man sent off. They don't even get it in a touch.
Harrison robustly brings Prescott to earth. Goulding then feeds Fogarty, and DePorty and Parker bring him down.
Gee, this crowd are paying for blood, aren't they?
Goulding, lovely run from the St Helens scrum half. Streaming up in support. Martin, Tommy Martin, great tackle back by Schuster. Tremendous tackle back, but I think the referee is bringing it all back, and it's a penalty to St Helens. A man being held back, and he's in his back pocket again. Russell Smith.
It's a beautiful dummy from Goulding there. Went on the outside, trying to get it away. You can see it was Smith that took out Gibbs. And I think you'll find that the youngster, Richard Smith, could be on for a little bit of a stint in the sin bin. Smith definitely, the referee that is, dipped into the back pocket.
He's going to it again.
There you can see Smith. He'll take Gibbs out now. As he turns, well, it looked a little bit more of a collision than anything. Two men.
And Richard Smith is protesting his innocence, as is what me. He's going back to the back pocket once more. He's not convinced with the argument. He's looking at the touch judge. Well,
did he hold him? He's saying no. Did he hold him or not?
This is where the communication between the referee and touch judge would help if there was a microphone at the top of that flag, as we saw on Friday.
Well, it's more of a collision, in my opinion.
I think he's been badly treated there.
So do I. The man was pushed into him. Well, nothing's going right for Halifax.
Carl Harrison in the sin bin earlier in this first half. John Fieldhouse sent off. And now Richard Smith in the sin bin. But he won't reappear till the second half.
But why on earth didn't Russell Smith, the referee, do the same when a St Helens player, he gave the penalty to Halifax? That was the one that Parker didn't kick into touch. They wasted their opportunity. But surely, if one's a professional foul on one side, he's got to play fair. He hasn't.
Goulding then with the penalty. And it misses. And what's more, it does not run dead. Schuster's picked it up, and I think Schuster thought he'd just defused a bomb. So it's going to be a goal line dropout now.
Well, he just lost the marbles there, did Schuster. Didn't know the rules. He thought that all he had to do was just take it. But really, he could have attempted to get back in the field of play. He eventually was pushed in over the dead goal line. Little wry smile, because he knows that someone will post him a rule book next week.
Alan Hunt. I just wonder for a moment whether Schuster did think he was defusing the bomb, Steve-O.
Well, it looked that way, didn't it? He made no attempt to get back into the field of play.
He just stood there, didn't he?
And walked over the dead ball line. Well, it's becoming a nightmare, I'm afraid, for Halifax. Surely Saints realise now all they've got to do is stretch the ball out wide.
Well, I rather fancy that Steve Sims will have plenty to say at half-time. Meanwhile, here comes Martin, out wide to Sullivan. Martin wanted it back, it went above him, and the ball has gone forward.
Well, that's a ploy, isn't it? Halifax have two men off now. At this point in time, getting the ball out wide. It's obvious that the Halifax defence is going to be stretched.
Parker feeds the scrum, gets possession, feeds Bentley then. Bentley with nowhere to go. So So Halifax playing out this closing moments of the first half with just 11 men on the field, and that's how they will restart at the start of the second half. Scott Gibbs, he got the first St Helens try, and that was followed up by one from Paul Loughlin. Loughlin has certainly been involved in quite a few of the major talking points of this first half. Carl Harrison shaking his head, having, I think, had a little word with the referee, Russell Smith, as he goes off for half-time. So, an interesting first half. I think that's the kindest thing we can say about it, but a disastrous one for Halifax.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Second half then of this top of the table Stonesborough Championship match at Knowsley Road. The Saints ahead by 10 points to 2. Bobby Goulding restarting for the Saints, and Halifax of course will play out the opening 5 or 6 minutes of this second half with just 11 men. Richard Smith still in the sin bin, John Fieldhouse sent off. I rather fancy that their coach Steve Sims will have had strong words to say, Steve-O, in that dressing room at half-time.
Without a doubt. Of course, he would have told his chargers to just take it nice and steady. At least let's get the man back on, the centre, Richard Smith, who's in the sin bin at the moment. Was John Fieldhouse sent off from the field. They're still in this game, only 8 points adrift, but they do have to hold on to this football. It was their problem in the first half. They must respect possession.
Last tackle, first set of 6 at the start of this second half. Parker will kick downfield, but underneath it is Steve Prescott. Prescott, one of the players in the under-21 squad to face the Australians at Gateshead on Tuesday. Sullivan from dummy half. And Halifax having to do a lot more work than St Helens in the tackling department. 30 more tackles already in this match. Dwyer gets the ball out wide to Gibbs. Gibbs tried to take on Preston. Moriarty is down and injured. With a familiar tale of Moriarty's rugby league career, that, it must be said. But St Helens sweeping forward now with Prescott again. Gets the ball out wide. And that's good defence from Bentley. Showed Sullivan the touchline and forced him over it.
Did well there. Look at the positional play there. Wonderful stuff from Bentley. Sullivan knew that there was nowhere through there. All down to positional play from that man Bentley. Showed him the touchline. Any of you young budding wingers, that's exactly what you have to do.
Paul Moriarty, number 11 there in the Halifax colours. More running repairs for him. By the way, talking of running repairs, we caught a glimpse at the half-time break of Kevin Ward of St Helens. Would you believe he's just had his 9th operation on the injured leg that he picked up in that match against Wigan for St Helens. Good Friday a couple of years ago. 9 operations on the leg, and everybody at St Helens, particularly the supporters club here at Knowsley Road, hope that he has a full and complete recovery this time. Brave boy, Kevin Ward, brave man, big character in the game, sad loss. Meanwhile, penalty to Halifax for pushing at the scrum, and Parker this time does find touch.
Makes a change, doesn't it? Actually pushing at the scrum.
But before the ball was fed. Carl Harrison wants to get up, but Chris Joint was all over his back. Here's Hagan. Martindale filling in for the injured Graham Hallis, who in turn is filling in for broken arm victim Steve Hampson at full-back for Halifax. And Eric Hughes, the St Helens coach, on the right of your picture, watching on as his team struggles a bit to gain superiority over this Halifax team, who, as we say, playing at the moment with 11 men. Schuster hit that at pace. Schuster tremendous down the touchline. What a run from Schuster. What a try from Hagan. Magnificent run from John Schuster. The Kiwi and Aussie double act. And Hagan, well, he was left to simply stroll in. Schuster, brilliant.
Superb play, long ball out from Parker. Hagan it was who drew in the defence. There you see he used round as a dummy. Look at that. Great play, just rolled the wrist round the football, stepped back inside. And Schuster, the Kiwi, is in fine form. Hagan, who's involved with the ball out wide. Look at the little pass there, just dummied, long ball, used round as the dummy there. Roll of the wrist was enough. Back on the inside, Bobby Goulding could do nothing about that, and that is a great try. What a fight back from Halifax. Different angle, you'll see how he sucks him away, uses round, he goes through, look at that. Oh, great stuff. Wonderful play there. Nothing that Lachlan could do about that, just on the inside. Halifax are back.
And they caught the Saints a bit cold there because they ran that football then on the last tackle in that set of 6. I think St Helens were hanging back and waiting for the kick to come in, but Schuster decided he would really put his foot down on the pedal. What a great run it was from the former All Black. 30-year-old, the leading point scorer in the game. 4 tries in the last 3 games and a try in the last 7 in a row for John Schuster. Well, he created that 4 for Hagan, and now he's trying to add the extras as the rain starts to fall here at Nosey Road with a bit more venom than it has done for most of the day. Schuster can kick this, it's well within his range. Not a problem. That's 150 points now for John Schuster this season.
Paul Lachlan is being sucked in, he expects Round to get it, but he uses a dummy runner, and look at the gap there. Too late. Lachlan was too slow, he was sucked in towards the dummy runner. The step on the inside, support play was there. That is a great try.
And all achieved with 11 men. Richard Smith still in the sin bin. Whoa, Moriarty might have been injured and damaged a few moments ago, but running with some venom. And Roy Sutherland just took his eye off the ball as he went to pick it up.
He was away before he had control of the football.
John Neal's boot was through there too as well.
Does that a lot, doesn't he, the St Helens prop forward?
Bobby Goulding and the referee collided then. Richard Smith waiting to return to the fray from the sin bin. Nicol towards the corner. He's lost it, and Halifax have it back.
Not so sure he lost it either. I think Mark Preston was having a little tug at that. Definitely the winger got his hand inside. Still, they got away with it.
We've said it so often in the past, Evo, that really is an impossible rule to try and rule on by the referee. Particularly if he's caught in the blind side, or if, like there is one man up against 2 defenders. So hard. Halifax come again then with Hagan, a long ball out wide to Preston. Preston steps away from Gibbs, doesn't get away from Cooper.
Well, it's a vital time for the Saints now. They cannot afford to fall asleep.
Richard Smith back on. Oh, what a blunder from Paul Round. Goulding swoops. Joint gets the ball away. Martin stands in the tackle. Goulding picks up again. Turns it back inside to Dwyer. And that was all brought about because of sloppy play by Halifax and Paul Round.
The hooker, Roy Sutherland, caught a stray boot. He's in a lot of pain.
That was impact. That was a knock-on.
Crunch time. Knew the arm was swinging towards him. Big prop forward, Jonathan Neal, losing control.
I don't know whether I said it earlier, but just let me confirm that Halifax now with 12 men. Smith is back on the field, and there he is in possession.
What great spirit, though, from Halifax. They were really on the rack, down to 11 men.
Happens so often, doesn't it, Steve-O? Player sent off, and the team that he's left really dig deep on reserves and come up with the goods.
You're going to have to look at Wembley. First test against the Australians.
Absolutely. Here's one of the heroes of Wembley, Carl Harrison. Now Parker drills the ball this time towards the corner, and that will not run dead. Alan Hunt will have to run this one back. Smith's waiting for him, so too Bentley and Southernwood.
Nice kick and chase. Saints are on the rack a little bit now. They've got to just keep control. They've still got that 2 points lead. They did go to sleep. Defence was caught napping. Lachlan caught out. Schuster riding through. Wonderful run.
Ian Connor has replaced Paul Round, one St Helens man who's on loan at Halifax for a former St Helens player. That ball runs dead, touch and goal.
Wouldn't be happy with that, Bobby Goulding. The object, of course, is to get the ball in the in-goal area. That means that the players have to run it out.
Off comes John Neal, on goes Apollo Perolini. So Saints making a change too. Perolini, the Western Samoan. And there's the Halifax substitute, Ian Connor, 24 years old. Had a great game apparently in the reserve team for Halifax here against St Helens at Thrum Hall on Friday night. Halifax that day won 38 points to 6. 10-8 to Saints today in the big league. Parker driving that ball downfield. Last tackle here, now they run it. Remember last time with Schuster, and it's with him again now. This time, oh well, he didn't lose it. I was going to say St Helens managed to snuff the danger out, but they didn't. And what's more, Prescott is caught.
Marvellous play from Halifax to keep that ball alive. Prescott under a lot of pressure. That is a great chase. Devorty was the first there. Well, Saints are on the rack, but look how Schuster keeps his ball alive. How does he get this out? Squeezed out. Hagen flips off on the half volley, and Bentley gets it to his boot.
Well, the difference between Halifax second half and Halifax first half is that on 5 occasions now, this is the 6th time that they've had the ball in their possession, and they've held on for the full set of 6 tackles. And that's mirrored in that statistic of possession in the opening 11 minutes or so of this second half.
Not only that, they've shown true professionalism. They went off at half-time well and truly rattled. A lot of disputed decisions against the referee. But they've rolled the sleeves up and shown they are a professional outfit.
Harrison keeps the ball alive well to Richard Smith. And he was tackled by Martin. Parker, Hagen and Parker again. Parker dabs the ball forward. Prescott having to be quick. Shuttles across, cuts the danger out.
Beautiful weighted kick there from Wayne Parker. And Steve Prescott read it well. That's got to be a penalty. There was no one marking, and he knows it, Ian Connor. Once he tapped the football there, Ian Connor would have to have come back the 10 yards before he could lay a hand on him. There you see quite clearly.
Perolini. Ian Connor back in the defensive line now. Fogarty. Big penalty count, isn't it? 11-8 in St Helens' favour. Joyce, that's better from Chris Joyce, a lovely break. And he gets through the tackle and he scores in the corner. Martindale's despairing effort as he came across to tackle the Great Britain man, and Joyce would have none of it.
What an amazing turn of speed by Chris Joyce. Once he went through Hagen's tackle, he really did turn on the gas. He stepped up another gear there. It fooled the fullback Martindale. That is a sensational try. Look at this. Into top gear straight away. And a little bit in and out. Oh, that is superb football. Well done, Chris Joyce. Back to top form. Working on the blind side. Hagen missed the tackle. Such a big lad. And it was just enough in and out to get round the fullback, Mick Martindale. You won't see better than that from any forward anywhere in the world.
Let's hope he can reproduce that sort of form in the test match at Ellen Road next Sunday. Let's hope, if Bobby Goulding is on the field, Ellery Hanley will announce his squad tomorrow that he too is in the top of his form. Fielding with the conversion attempt then. Just fades, misses it. 14-8. Nothing to choose.
Look how the big man just goes in and out, just enough. Here he goes. Excellent play. Great try.
So Chris Joynt, his 6th try of the season. So 55 minutes of this match gone. Halifax restart, trailing now by 6 points, 14-8. Wayne Parker, their inspirational scrum half, has been led off the field injured, and Paul Rowley has come on for his Halifax debut, signed this week. Parker takes his place on the bench. Ice being applied to the troubled area.
He lost that one, Parolini. He's playing when he was interfered with. You'll see he just lost it. Couldn't blame anyone there. Lost total control. Little knee from Southernwood perhaps, but I don't think that was the reason.
Rowley, number 14, feeding the scrum. Normally a hooker. That job being left to Roy Southernwood with the scrum cap on, just wandering through the picture there. Number 9. Here is Rowley. 3 tries in the reserve team against Saints on Friday, and one as soon as he comes on today. What a start to a Halifax career for 19-year-old Paul Rowley. His 7th of the season, 6 previously with Lee, 1 on his debut. He's been on for a minute.
Well, it might have been asleep this game for quite some time, but it has come alive. And the substitute, Paul Rowley. What tremendous strength at the end there to make sure he got the ball down. Prescott was charging a Craig. He threw the dummy. Shane Cooper just took it on the inside, and look at the guy go. But what's the strength? Held the ball in the right hand so he could fend with the left, and it was enough. Cooper it was that went up quickly. He was quick to seize the opportunity. Wonderful vision from the young substitute. This is the fend, and it was enough. The momentum takes him. That is a wonderful try.
And absolutely thrilled with that effort, Paul Rowley. Hardly been on the field, what, 60, 65 seconds? And immediately he goes over for the try. Normally a hooker, but strangely enough, last time he played for Lee only a week ago against Hunslet, he did play at scrum half. So he's no stranger to the role. Well, Halifax really have hit back here, haven't they? The 12 men have now got 12 points. And if this sails over from Schuster, the scores will be level. It's a difficult kick, but if anyone can kick it, Schuster can. Just a yard in from touch on that far side. Russell Smith in the background there, calling time back on. He's got chances. He's just pushed it past the near post. The pain on the face, but Halifax really in the hunt for a victory here. 14-12.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Today.
So a long time to go yet in this match, and it is there for the winning. Quite a contest on the scoreboard, there's no doubt about that. And Halifax playing with a man down, with Fieldhouse sent off in the first half, have really, Steve-O, dug deep on their resources of courage and commitment, and they have taken St Helens almost to the wire here.
Wonderful effort in the second half when Chris Joynt scored that last try for St Helens. You couldn't have blamed them for going a little bit low and thinking about it. There's a little bit of a shenanigans going in the back, swinging arm. Referee Russell Smith not happy with it. penalty to Halifax. But you talk about commitment, and then when a substitute can bounce back, score a wonderful try. This is the incident. You'll see Fogarty coming over the top quite late. That's why there it is. Oh, dearie me.
The ball was in the arms of Ian Connor, wasn't it?
Well, he's been very lenient on a few occasions as Russell Smith today.
Harrison.
And let's not forget, Eddie, that Saints did play against Doncaster last Tuesday. So the last 15 minutes, they could well and truly be tired. Dragging the feet.
Southernwood to Hagan. And now Moriarty. Moriarty saw a gap. Shot through it, the big man. And a good job that the substitute Perolini was there. Perolini hanging on to the shirt perhaps a little bit too long. Moriarty certainly thought so. Russell Smith though says play on. Hagan to Devorty. Devorty gets the ball away to Southernwood. Southernwood to the ground. Bentley tips it back in field. Schuster, this movement will keep on going. It's back to 0 on the tackle count, by the way. Referee has wiped it down to 0. Big pressure here from Hagan and Halifax.
Oh, they're cutting St. Helens apart from the dummy half position. Saints are all at sea in defence.
Harrison takes something to bring him down. Talking to his coach Steve Sims about him this week, he said Carl Harrison would play for you with a broken leg. Connor. Good tackle by Fogarty. Dwyer's all over the substitute. Southernwood on his own. Held up and hauled back. So close. Nichols picked up on the intercept. Referee will blow the whistle though and bring them back. Referee wants them to come all the way back.
Well, they're still going, but Russell Smith has gone to look to the touch judge for help to see whether the decision would be made. Now, they were about to play the ball on the last tackle, Halifax, and it appeared to me as though Sonny Nicol just picked it up off the ground.
Referee's decision will be crucial. Knock on, he says. Scrum down, head and feed to St. Helens.
Well, this is where the hooker Southernwood went forward. And it appeared to me as though he was trying to play the ball from here. And Nicol just picked it up off the ground. So he must have lost it on the blind side, seen by the touch judge. Well done.
But Steve-O, if it's a knock-on and
Play
St.
on.
Helens get head and feed, it's play on, isn't it?
I know. But it was seen by the touch judge. And these days, touch judges have to help the referee, didn't you know?
Well, he's not done much for Mr. Smith's reputation here. There's the knock-on. And surely that should have been play on, and Nicol was right to go up the other end of the field.
I also feel that Roy Southernwood was trying to play it and got his foot to it. Either way, the game continues. Confusion reigns. And what's he going to do there? Play on.
And again, play on. Ball went backwards. Ball's out wide here to Bentley. Bentley, some pace. Oh, what a cruncher from Apollo Perolini. That's why they call him the Terminator. Oh, Devorty. Halifax again, so close with Hagan, with Moriarty. And Moriarty's just held up inches short. Oh, Richard Smith didn't see the ball was played to him. Halifax get away with it. Southernwood. Devorty.
Tremendous scrambling defence from Saints. They were well and truly split open.
Driving run from Harrison, and he spilled it out, but Southernwood retained possession. That's the last tackle. Rowley. It's back to Hagan. Dabs it through. Here's a chance. Oh, that was well defended. That was excellently defended on that far side. Sullivan.
Oh, he just got fingertips to that. It was a beautiful kick from Hagan. Bentley read it well. It's a move that they do so often. And Sullivan did the right thing. He just obstructed Bentley enough to stop him from scoring.
Back, Halifax will come at Saints again, this time Martindale. Here's the last quarter, And Saints have conceded a third of theirs, 36 tries in the opening quarter, but they've scored a third of their own, 57 in the last quarter of the game so far. And Halifax have conceded two-thirds of theirs, by the way, in the final quarter. So it really is up for grabs, this match here. And look at the statistic that Halifax are enjoying in terms of possession. They now have a penalty because Saints move off the mark at the play the ball.
Well, Devorty was not marked in front. Fogarty says that he was. The crowd don't like it. Referee Russell Smith said he was not in front. And you could see clearly that Fogarty was stood to one side. Russell Smith, Johnny on the spot. You see it. Crowd are booing. What a vital 2 points this could be.
Bernard Dwyer goes off, Jonathan Griffiths comes on for St Helens, while Halifax prepare to take this penalty. Griffiths having a little word in the ear of Bobby Goulding. Words of wisdom, no doubt, from the coach Eric Hughes, communicated to the bench from the far side. But this is a vital kick now for Schuster, the game's leading point scorer. 2 out of 3, this bang in front, and 23 meters away from the posts. Eric Hughes talking into that microphone, keeping in contact with the bench, passing the information on, making sure they stick to the game plan. But what a game plan this will be if this is kicked, and kicked it is. So these two sides, the two form sides in the big league, locked up now at 14 all. Saints 9 unbeaten, Halifax 7 straight wins as they came into this match. Where's your money now, Steve-O?
I'll still go for Saints. They have to just steady the ship, and I think it's going to be that man Bobby Goulding that's really got to fire them into it. They went to sleep early in this second half, but full credit to Halifax. They really have shown their professionalism, bounced back from a horrible first stanza.
It was 16 all here, of course, last season. The nearest Halifax came to breaking their duck in the big league. It's 14 all now, and still plenty of time to go. Great defence from Griffiths and Martin. Southernwood almost lost the hat.
It's important that Saints keep the pressure on now. The defence, it's lost the ball.
Knock on the decision against Ian Connor.
You can see Perolini's arm come over the top. Oh, it's a difficult one for any referee to look at. Look at that. How can you tell whether that was dropped or knocked out? Either way. Oh, they've got one against the head.
Yes, Halifax have it, and we have a cracker of a match for you over Christmas. Saints Wigan here at Knowsley Road. 11 a.m. we start, 11:30 kick-off, and then New Year's Day we're at Central Park for a 7:30 kick-off. Wigan Warrington, we will be on air that night at 7 o'clock. Some great stuff on the way over Christmas on Sky and the big league. And Richard Smith had the ball stolen from him here.
Well, it's farcical now. The ball's being whipped away. Referees aren't even looking at it anymore. They're just looking at the touch judges. Well, I've been calling for 2 referees out in the field for many a year. Now it looks like we've got 3.
And one sitting with a microphone in his hand. They managed to hang on to the possession somehow to Halifax. Moriarty juggling with it.
Well, it's desperation both sides. Surely they'll use the drive down the middle and go for the one-pointer.
Harrison.
Michael Hagan surely will be setting himself somewhere.
There is Hagan. They've elected to give Schuster a run towards the corner. And he just got there too late, and Prescott took the gamble. It came off for him. The attack on the 20.
It was a super kick, wasn't it? But how cool was the fullback Steve Prescott?
But it might have lacked a lot in terms of quality football, but you cannot doubt either side's commitment here. Particularly Halifax, down, remember, to 12 men. Perolini And after tonight's game, of course, don't forget the highlights of all the matches from Division 1. Every try that's scored in the country this afternoon, you'll be able to see them after the full-time siren. And here's a chance for Hunt. He's got Gibbs with it. It was a good job that the hand got to that. The hand belonged to number 5, Mark Preston. But St Helens so close.
That would have been a try. You can see came off Preston's right hand, and Gibbs just flying through. But didn't he do well, Preston, there? Gibbs thought for all the world there was going to be 4 points coming his way.
Terrific run from Alan Hunt.
Surely now, Saints will just get this ball back from the dropout, drive down the middle. Bobby Goulding will be the man.
Prescott picks it up. Net then by Rowley, and Harrison came in over the top 2. Big 10 minutes on the way here. Nicol. St Helens not making quite the inroads that the Halifax forwards are when they have the possession. Stand by for something now with Goulding. Halifax still in control in terms of possession, and Halifax penalised in the shape of Ian Connor for holding Bobby Goulding down.
The little terrier was trying to get up and play the ball quickly. O'Connor's arm dragged him back over, and that was enough. Desperation there on the Halifax substitute. It could cost him the game. There you see Goulding very eager to get up and play the ball. Little doubt about it. Smile on Goulding's face.
A little wink.
He milked it very well.
A little wink there, I fancy, too.
Well, there's never any doubt. The substitute of Connor was well and truly dragged him back over. Didn't resist much, though, Bobby Goulding. At 14 all and a chance to add 2 very vital 2 points. Why not?
Well, 1 from 5. He's not been in form with the kicking so far today, but this could be the moment for Goulding. Couple of big breaths, steadying the nerves. This is another, knock on Schuster! Knock on behind his own line from John Schuster. Hero, 10-15 minutes ago with that run. Now the villain.
Well, the Saints fans couldn't believe that Goulding had pulled it wide, and then the New Zealand centre just lost complete control of that.
Drop out from underneath their own sticks then by Halifax, taken by Moriarty. Up to halfway with Cooper, who will run it back, and who will take them on his own, and Richard Smith did well. Hunt, dummy half. Showed it to Perolini, took the tackle himself.
The winger knew exactly what they want. Getting to the middle there so they can set up for it. It's a field goal, surely.
Goulding trying to conjure something up for Fogarty. Fogarty gets the ball away. Chris Joynt nowhere to go. Teammates for Great Britain, Harrison and Joynt. This is John Griffiths.
Will it be Goulding or will it be Steve Prescott, the fullback?
It could be Nicol. Oh, he drops it. And the referee rules knock on. I was about to say the ball went backwards.
Looks as though it came down there from Schuster's arm. Well, a lot of controversy in this game. With the second rower, Sonny Nicol, going on the blind side. Bobby Goulding was screaming at him. They'd already pointed where they wanted to go, right under the sticks. Moriarty
comes off to be replaced by Paul Round. The big game, Paul Moriarty. Big push at that scrum. Whose possession? It's Halifax. Oh, and Sonny Nicol made a far too early play for that ball.
You can only strike for the football when it touches the ground. It hadn't. Penalty had to be given. Frustrating times.
Bentley being forced back. Griffiths and Perolini, the 2 substitutes, using a lot of strength. Now Devorty. Oh, not Devotee, beg his pardon, it's Ian Connor. Here's Harrison, taking Fogarty on. Really will run through a brick wall for you, Harrison, no doubt about that. Here's Devotee now. He's got Bentley in support, and maybe he should have given it the winger, but it was a great tackle by Alan Hunt. Hagan, long ball out wide. There's Bentley. It was Mark Preston who was up in support of Devotee's run.
Schuster couldn't take it though. Bentley got the ball back on the inside. It was a little bit too high. Saints breathe again. But what a great run from Devotee.
An exciting contest, isn't it? 5 minutes to go and the match is there for the winning. I reckon we're getting into drop goal territory here now. A drop goal could win this.
The problem is the Saints have had 2 opportunities and they've blown it.
Griffiths, all wrapped up by Paul Round. Cooper, Goulding, drops the ball under pressure from Hagan. Oh, and Devotee dropped the ball. He claims, though, that Perolini had tackled it without possession. Gibbs to Prescott. St Helens are streaming forward. Ball out wide, ball inside. Laughlin is tackled by Schuster, but the referee's pulled it all back for a forward pass.
Great run there from Gibbs, started it off. Fullback Prescott chimed in, but Schuster come to the rescue. That was great cover defence from Schuster.
Adam Fogarty goes off as John Schuster watches while this scrum forms. Fogarty jogs off and John Neal returns for the last 4 minutes here. Hagan, his opposite number, Tommy Martin. Good tackle by Cooper on Mark Preston.
Good work by the winger Preston there. Trying to take a lot of weight off the forwards. Desperation, knowing that those yards are going to be vital. They've got a great kicker in both Hagan and Schuster. It'll have to be a long-range one, I fear.
Connor plays the ball to Southernwood. Here's Harrison. Harrison releasing the pass to Round and a knock-on from Paul Round.
Well, don't either side want to win this. Instead of doing the normal basic principles and taking possession, getting them into a position for the field goal, neither of them have used it.
Prescott, little shimmy of the hips, gets round one, but can't get away from Schuster. Less than 3 minutes to go. Sullivan at dummy half, gets away from Martindale, and Schuster and Round, and he crawls then another 5 or 6 yards, with Harrison all over him. Here's John Neal. Saints now must surely drive it in towards those posts. Nickel. Good defence, Halifax. Griffiths. Good run from the dummy half, Griffiths. They're within range now on the last tackle. It's back, but it was almost back. It was a knock-on, they rushed it. They made a complete and utter porridge of that.
What on earth were they doing there? Tommy Martin was in the way of Bobby Goulding. Goulding shakes the head. Martin looks totally confused. And it looks like the inner tubes come out of the ball.
The ball is damaged.
Well, you don't see that all that often. The ball's got a pimple.
Mind you, it's taken a bit of stick today. Connor with Perolini all round him. Southernwood's the dummy half. John Neal trying to wrestle him to the ground. Rowley, the dummy half. Good defence this from Saints. Southernwood finds Devorty. We're in the last minute. Oh, it's the 5th tackle for Halifax. They're a long way from the posts. Hagan drifts one over the top. But there's no chance for Bentley to get that before it found touch.
Too far for Michael Hagan. He knew it as well, so he opted to push it into the corner and hope that Saints make a bad mistake in the dying seconds.
Well, there's plenty of time, I think, to be added on, because Russell Smith has been holding the clock up whenever either of the two sides have been playing for a bit of time. So as we approach stoppage time, Paul Round having been withdrawn and Moriarty coming back, anything could still happen here. We're now into stoppage time. That's good defence from Halifax.
Well, they've only themselves to blame, St Helens. They've had 3 opportunities to put over the drop goal, and they made a meal of it on all 3 occasions.
Cooper fires the pass out to Perolini, and he gives it to Sullivan. Sullivan is tackled. Well, having played for the majority of this match with 12 men, Halifax do deserve perhaps at least a share of the spoils, and maybe they will get something else now. Rowley, oh, that's a good tackle. Terrific tackle from Gibbs.
I can't believe that. They knocked on and just stood still, did St Helens. Halifax gained a valuable 15 or 16 yards, and that could be the key to it.
Discipline also has to be the key to it here, because St Helens can ill afford now to concede a penalty for offside. Harrison driving it in towards that 20-metre mark. He's there now. One more drive and stand by for a possible drop goal. Devorty misses.
Well, the Saints side, they thought it was going to be Hagan. They went on the opposite direction.
I tell you what, that was a
pretty close, wasn't it?
A coat of paint, that's all.
Gary Devorty thought it was over. Looked in total dismay when Russell Smith just waved the arms away.
Still time, because no sign yet of the final siren. And Russell Smith has, as I say, been calling time off for quite some time during this second half. Griffiths.
Quick play the ball, that's what's needed. A good drive.
Martin, he's having a drop goal attempt. That was charged down by Hagan. 6 to go with Perolini. Perolini to Gibbs. Gibbs for the corner. He scores. Scott Gibbs has won the match for St Helens. Tremendous play from St Helens in the end. The attempted drop goal was charged down, and Saints picked up the pieces. Perolini fed Gibbs, and Gibbs, his second 2-try effort, and a big smacker from Tommy Martin.
Well, Tommy Martin at the attempt of the field goal. Perolini did well, didn't he? He kept his cool. And look at Gibbs go for it. He dives early. He knows the cover's coming across. Oh, this game can be so cruel. Straight into the arms of Perolini. It was a perfect little chip through onto his hands. But look at the determination. Try time. 2 valuable points for the Saints. But how cruel can it be? A football is liable to go anywhere. On this occasion, it fell so sweetly for Perolini, and Gibbs dives early to ensure he slides over. What a sensational finish.
Scott Gibbs, moment to savour in his brief big league career. And Goulding, with 1 from 6, knows that although he's out on the touchline and would love to slot it over, that at the end of the day it might not matter now. It's 1 from 7 for Goulding, but it's both points for the Saints. There's the final siren, and Scott Gibbs has won the match for St Helens here at Knowsley Road. His second 2-try effort in the big league. It's all smiles in the red and white of Saints. Perolini, the man who fed Gibbs with the pass for his try. A cruel game this could be at times. Halifax tried their hardest to pick up their first big league win here at Knowsley Road, but Gibbs and Saints had other ideas. 18-14.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Final score at Knowsley Road, St Helens 18, Halifax 14. The 2 tries from Scott Gibbs, 1 from Lachlan and Joint, 2 tries for Halifax from Hagan and Rowley, and Schuster kicked 3 goals. Tremendous game for Scott Gibbs with 2 tries, particularly the last-minute effort really did please the Welshman. Scott, 2 tries in 2 matches now, and nothing more important than that one.
No, not the last one. Yeah, I think general below par performance for Saints today. We had a tough slog down in Doncaster in a week, and I think it did take the guts out of some of the players. You know, not all of us were focused, but we managed to come away with a win, and that's what we wanted to do.
When we're down to 11 men and down to 12 men at one stage, it's always difficult to play with 1 marker instead of 2 markers, and catch-up football is very difficult. But we kept to our guns, and we nearly finished at the end with a drop goal from Gary Devote. Yes,
that was so close, wasn't it? Only a lick of paint, I think.
Well, if Gary Devote scored that, we win the game. If not, we charge the ball down, they get a freakish bounce, and Scott Gibbs goes in the corner.
Apollo, you were in the injury time situation. The ball was in your hands, and Scott Gibbs screaming for it out wide. I mean, it must have been a nerve-wracking moment or two.
It was, but sort of like when I was 14 all, I was praying to God, and I said, if it's something you want me to do, or you can just going to keep it at 14 all. And suddenly the ball just came flying to me, and just gave us an opportunity. But it's all good going by the guys here. It's good.
Tremendous effort, really, because at one stage it looked as though it was slipping away from you against the 12 men.
I was getting a bit scary, yeah. I was thinking, oh no, they're gonna do us with only 12 men. That's more embarrassing than getting beaten 13. Yeah.
What did Steve Sims say to you at half-time? Because it looked at one stage as though you were just losing your cool completely, all 12 who were left on the field.
Yes, we just couldn't complete a set of 6 in the first half. We kept giving the ball away, you know, earlier on in the tackle piece, and you know, he obviously emphasised that and emphasised our defence. Really, you know, we were confident that we will eventually break the line and score some points. And you know, at the end of the day, it would have to fall down to our defence, and now we hold them out.
And you ran it on the last tackle, and it was a tremendous run from you that set up the try in the far corner.
Yes, we spotted their winger dropping back in the last tackle, decided to run the ball, and you know, got through some holes there, and fortunate we came up for a try.
The statistics behind a very exciting finish. Team tackling equally shared. The scrums, 22 of them, 12 to Saints. Penalties level pegging at 12 all, as were the handling errors, 15 each. Probably too many for the 2 coaches. First half was most of all St Helens, and second half it belonged to Halifax. Delight for St Helens then, delight for Scott Gibbs, and St Helens winning this match by the narrowest of margins. A try in injury time really does tell its own story. Steve-O, there's an old saying in sport, isn't there? If you play badly and yet still win, you must be doing something right.
Yeah, they'll be happy with the 2 points, but I don't think their coach will be happy with the way that they played. OK, they did play midweek against Doncaster. That may have taken the edge off them. But on today's performance, they have got a lot of improvement to do. They just lost their way. They're still the old St Helens that just throw it away at vital points. They do not keep their concentration level high throughout the entire game.
Lucky to get away with the game, though, but St Helens march on. And as far as the rest are concerned in the big league, let's take a look now at all the tries scored elsewhere in the country today.
Seize the day.
Leeds were off to a flyer at Featherstone through a second-minute try from Asene Faimalo. But Rovers, fired up by their ex-Leeds coach David Ward, came back to level the score with Carl Gibson crossing in the 10th minute. Leeds soon recaptured the lead, however. 3 minutes later, the ball moved sweetly to the left. Craig Innes to Francis Cummins. He cut back infield, where he found support from Ellery Hanley. It was a fiery contest, a tough one for Australian referee Bill Harrigan to control. Matt Calland sending in Ikram Butt as Featherstone closed again. And they went in front as Brendan Tutor crossed. In the background, Kevin Iro and Danny Dive squaring up. The shape of things to come, that was. A second try from Ellery Hanley put Leeds back in front. Hanley, though, has other things on his mind as Great Britain coach, with news from Bradford that Paul Newlove has now picked up a shoulder injury. The game eventually boiled over when Mark Aston went in late and high on Alan Tate and sparked a brawl. As Carl Gibson looked on in astonishment, referee Harrigan dismissed Aston. He also sin-binned Matt Calland, Gary H. Price, Gary Schofield and Harvey Howard during the course of the game. Alan Tate, though, got his own reward. Schofield, this was before he was sin-binned, sending him through a gap. That put Leeds 24-16 ahead, but Featherstone fought back again. Brendan Tutor with a great ball out wide to send in Freddie Banquet. Banquet added a penalty goal to make it Featherstone 22, Leeds 24, but then Patrick Onta sent in Leeds sub Richie Ayres for the decisive score. Late in the game, another revival from Featherstone Rovers, Danny Dive doing the spade work, Matt Calland finishing off, but Leeds won by just 2 points to go second in the table.
There was no hint of what was to follow when Lee's lovely chip was collected by Blakely. His excellent pass found Critchley, and Craig Randall was on hand to touchdown for Salford. But Hull hit back in equally impressive fashion, a move stemming from Tim Street's driving run, but Endicott still giving Paul Sterling something to do to score. It was Hull's other winger, Tuita Vaikona, who put the early birds in front. Hewitt, Endicott and David setting up the chance. It was 12-8 at half-time. It was the Kiwi link which provided Hull with an important first try in the second half. A lovely sweeping move. But was Richardson's pass forward? Paul Sterling didn't wait to debate the subject. His second try. Former academy star Mark Hewitt was man of the match, and he followed up his chip and with the help of Nolan scored Hull's fourth try, 24-8. It should really have all been tied up, but the home side let Salford back into it. This great run by Jason Williams, setting up Nathan McAvoy. Some poor Hull tackling gave Salford more points on the board. Gregory feeding Sam Panapa. But then the Red Devils did a devilishly stupid thing. Lee's pass intercepted and Nolan fed young Hewitt his second try and 16 points in all, including 4 goals. Hull's first home win and just their second of the season.
Wakefield Trinity coach David Hobbs gave his side a real roasting after their woeful display against Salford last time out, and the message seemed to have got through as they tore into Warrington early on, Lee Childs scoring the first try of the game. Nigel Wright goaled and things got even better for Wakefield. A wild pass from Francis Maloney was picked off by Gary Christie, and he went 60 yards to add to his side's tally. Wright converted and Trinity were leading 12-0 after 20 minutes. Wright added another goal to put Wakefield further ahead. Cue Kelly Shelford on as substitute, an outrageous dummy, and Warrington started to fight back. Yestin Harris and Nigel Wright swapped goals before Warrington struck again. Jonathan Roper, Maloney, Shelford involved once more, and Cullen on the end of the move. That made it 15-10, and Wakefield got careless at just the wrong moment. A wild pass from Adrian Flynn was picked up by Shelford, and he sent Mark Forster away for his first try of the game. The gap had closed to 1 point, and in fact, Yestin Harris's goal put Warrington ahead for the first time. Not for long, though. Nigel Wright setting up Aaron Whittaker. Wright kicking the goal, Trinity back in front. Once again, though, Mark Forster struck Lee Penny with the final pass, a formality for Forster, his second of the game. A Nigel Wright drop goal gave Trinity a lead they couldn't hold on to. Just as Lee Child couldn't hold on to that Greg Mackey bomb, and Forster pounced his hat-trick. That put Warrington 26-22 ahead, and the try that really sealed the game for them came after a great break from Lee Penny, supported by Takeri Barlow and Kelly Shelford, who appeared to have been tackled. Not so, according to the referee. Lee Penny kept the move going, and Mark Forster dotted down. In injury time, Wakefield Trinity scored a consolation try through Adrian Flynn, a much improved performance, but nothing to show for it.
Well, most players might be hoping to catch the eye of the Great Britain coach Ellery Hanley. Doncaster's Colin Maskell might make England's soccer coach Terry Venables sit up and take notice. Alex Green was the man who capitalised on the impressive bit of dribbling. Steve McCurry was to prove both hero and villain for the Chemics. The hero now to level the scores at 6-6. This was Doncaster's first league visit to Norton Park in 23 years, and it looked as though it was going to be a barren one when Carl Hammond's awareness set up Anthony Singleton for just his second try for the Chemics. But now McCurry the villain. His pass intercepted by Alex Green, and the standoff raced the length of the pitch, all together with Tom Jones. It's good to touch the green grass away from home. 12-12.
Derwent Park experts said that torrential rain meant the conditions were the worst they'd seen for many a year. It must have been bad. It certainly turned Workington versus Castleford into a kicking duel. After 2.5 minutes, Dean Marwood's penalty put Workington into the lead after Castleford were caught offside. Just before half-time, Workington were given another opportunity to increase their lead. Tawera Nikau was penalised for not playing the ball correctly. Another successful Marwood penalty, 4-0 to Workington. Castleford got their kicks in the second half. Lee Crooks banging this long-range effort over. Then, with 13 minutes later, what looked like a rare scoring opportunity, although James Pickering went in high on Richie Blackmore. Another penalty to Castleford. Lee Crooks, by now resembling a creature from the deep, managed to extract his kicking foot from the quagmire and make the scores level, 4-4.
Now let's round up the day's results for you. First of all, the John Smith's Tour match, Bradford 0, Australia 40. Into the big league, the Stonesborough Championship First Division. Sheffield beaten by Wigan on Friday, and St Helens winning by 4 points here today. Featherstone 28, Leeds 30. Hull 29, Salford 16. Wakefield 26, Warrington 32. Widnes 12, Doncaster 12. And Workington 4, Castleford 4. So Leeds go second in the table after their narrow win at Featherstone. Mark Aston sent off for Rovers. Saints move third above Bradford, who played the Australians today. At the bottom, Workington and Hull swap places. Workington drew with Castleford, while Hull beat Salford. Hull move above the Cumbrians on points difference. Now to Division 2. Barrow 6, Huddersfield 22. Bramley 24, Hull Kingston Rovers 26. Carlisle 12, Batley 26. Highfield 20, Rydale York 24. Keighley 28, Rochdale 13. Lee 10, Whitehaven 30. London 40, Hunslet 2. And Swinton 12, Dewsbury 24. At the top of Division 2, all the top 8 have won, so no change here. Keighley maintain their 3-point lead. And the fact that the top 8 have all won means the bottom 8 all lost. Highfield and Barrow, the bottom 2, Lee 3 points behind Rydale York now. Now what's coming up for you on the big league? Well, we're on Sky Sports 2, a week on Friday, the 25th of November, for Halifax against Widnes. Note the change of channel. Sky Sports 2 for Halifax Widnes, but it's at the normal time, 7 o'clock. And Sunday, normal time again, but once more on Sky Sports 2 for Warrington against Featherstone Rovers, including highlights from all the other First Division games. Boots and all on Friday this week. Friday, we'll have a preview of the third and final deciding test match at Ellen Road, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on Friday this week for boots and all. And coming up to Christmas, we have the Boxing Day special, St Helens against Wigan from Knowsley Road. We'll be live at 11 a.m. The kick-off 11:30. That's Saints Wigan. And then on New Year's Day, Wigan and Warrington moves to the evening. It's live and exclusive on Sky with the 7:30 kick-off, and we shall be here from 7 o'clock to build up the match and bring you all the entertainment. That's it then from Knowsley Road. Look forward to seeing you on Boots and All on Friday. Good luck to Great Britain. From Knowsley Road, goodbye.